Okay, here's a loop from Drums at Knock 9. I dragged it in and it warped by default, but say it's not warped by default, and your tempo is something totally different. It's all off the grid, right? If you have a loop and you don't know it's cut to a tempo, one way you can adjust it is through the transpose, or the pitch. What I just did was I turned the pitch up, and then you can get it right on point with the transpose. We have our tempo set to 104, and the loop is 120. So we know that the loop actually has to be slower in order to fit. You turn the pitch down because you want this to go to the next bar segment. So I turn the pitch down, let's see. Turn it down 2, and then turn that down. And now it's gonna fit right to the grid. So then what you can do from there, you can warp this and turn the pitch back to center. That's one way to get your loop on the grid. In this case, we know the loop is 120 beats per minute. If we didn't know, that would be the way to do it. But because we know it and our grid's set to 104, what we want to do is just set our grid to 120, then just hit warp. So now you can set it back to 104 and it's going to be perfectly on the grid. This one, we know it shouldn't be in beats mode. We're going to put it in complex. That's 2 ways to get your stuff on time. Let's show another example, a drum record. I'm gonna extract the part I want. I'm gonna take the section that I want. We don't know the tempo. We just wanna make sure that we crop it right to the beginning of the transient. And let's see if we need to make it slower or faster. We're gonna leave our tempo at 104 and we're gonna put on the metronome and see how it lines up. So obviously we need to make it faster. We turn the pitch up and then we're gonna edit the transpose so it gets right on the mark. Nope, that's wrong. So let's slow it down. Let's try that. There we go. Now it's right on the grid. So what you can do in this case, since it's a part of a bigger sample, highlight it, hit Command J, and now it just consolidated it and warped it on the grid. Another thing in Ableton is if we have a live percussion loop, obviously it's not going to be perfectly on time. If you want it to be more syncopated, you can just quantize the audio. I'm going to hit Command A, highlight the whole thing, and then hit Command U. Now everything is perfectly on the grid. So now, in beats mode, this selector will basically shape it, so it'll take out some of the sustain on the sounds. Here's another way you can warp a sample. So let's take that same loop, and now we know it needs to be longer. What you want to do, just warp it exactly where it is, hold down Shift, you're going to see a little arrow and a bracket, and just drag it. We have to crop the beginning here. So you want to crop it, make sure you have the right selection, Shift, and drag, and you can hold down Command to do smaller ticks for the shift. So now, same thing, you hit Command J to consolidate it, go down to the waveform, hit Command A, highlight it, and then Command U. And that's gonna snap everything to the grid. 3 ways that I like to use to warp a sample. Do you guys know any others?